So if you're watching this, this is your first red flag. If you're being recruited, if they're offering you a high comp,
Yeah.
run. If they're offering you a high comp, that means they have nothing else to offer you.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
I gotta keep going.
Zac Twardowski here with my guy Ronnie Salem. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Sir.
This is your second full year in the
Yep,
business.
second full year this year.
Okay, and it seems like it's not been that long. And you've had your license for 3 years, but you were part time for a while.
Almost the first year, I would say.
For the first year, okay. So like I think would be cool for us to go through today is I don't think there's been anyone that's gone from like there's been a lot of people that went from 0 to $1 million quick who were in the insurance industry because they just like brought their whole team and everyone else's team with them. And there's some people that have gone from 1 million to 2 million pretty quick, but then you went from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3 within a year and a half, right?
Yeah, so 0 to 1 in 10 months, and then 1 to 3 million in 6 months.
1 to 3.
This last
So a year and a half total.
Yeah.
And what percent of your team was licensed when they started here? Do you think?
0.
0.
So I had a couple guys maybe that were with like different company, three-letter company
second.
that's not with us.
Yeah.
That didn't do well there.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 of my biggest guys failed out at a prior insurance company.
So probably like 30% of your overall agents
Yeah,
were
maybe
licensed
20,
at some point.
25%. Well,
But
just
not-
them. They didn't have teams.
Oh, just them.
So just like 3 people that came from
Got it.
previous IMOs that didn't do well at all.
Cool.
Now 2 of them are on pace to make 7 figures this year.
And I think that's one of the excuses people use a lot. Like, oh, well, people only grow that fast because they like were in, and you weren't in a different sales organization
No,
before.
no sales
You
background.
weren't doing solar sales or pest control or anything like that. Like you were.
0.
So let's start from the beginning. You got your license 2023, part time for a year. Like, why were you part time in insurance at first? And then when did you decide that the business made enough sense for you to stop doing what you were doing and go all in on insurance?
Yeah. So I just talked about that in the training call now. Like that was my biggest flaw of the business. I did a training call for my team that it was labeled the mistake that cost me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Not believing in the business early on cost me millions of dollars year to date. So like it took me 18 months to be recruited in the business because you hear all these crazy numbers. Mahmoud was like 21 at the time. Wiley was living in his mom's basement. It's like, I don't believe these guys. I remember getting on Zoom one time and seeing Wiley getting yelled at by his mom for like laundry or something. I'm like, yeah, this is BS.
You're like, I'm not doing this.
I was like, I'm not doing this,
I ain't
dude.
doing this, yeah.
So it's like it took me 18 months to be recruited. Then it took me another almost a year to have my belief to go full-time in the business.
And that was after convention, right?
Yeah, so I went full-time after conventions because I saw it.
Yeah.
And I believed it, and I saw all of the people doing well there, and I said, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to dedicate a full month to this. And at the time, I was making about, give or take, $15K a month in the restaurant industry. And I always said, if I made $20K a month, I'm going to freaking burn the boats. I'm out. Like, I was dying to get out of there. But I have a family, dude. Like, I got to see results. I'm not the 22-year-old kid that's dropping out of law school again. Like, I needed to see results before I walk away from something. So I did. I went to convention. I went full-time. I sold $81,000 that month. I made $43,000 net on my own pen without a team. I was like, that's it. That's all I need to see. From there.
That was March after convention.
That was March 23.
Okay.
First full-time month at a convention.
Now, because so last night and we always talk about like our second shift that we do. We both have kids.
Yeah.
And we work early. We work until like 5. We hang out with our kids. And then we work again at like 9 to 11, which annoys all of our other people we work with that don't have kids, but like it annoys Calvin, who's sitting over there, probably when I call him at 9:30. But you and I get it. But last night we were talking about it at like 9:30, and you said that, and we won't name names, that's mean, but you were like, I went to convention, I saw all these people who had teams doing $1 million a month. Like, and what did you think when you saw them?
Dude, I saw them on stage, like a bunch of older guys, like half asleep. I said, I'm going to torch them when I come back.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to know what freaking hit them when I come back next year.
Yeah.
Because, like, dude, if those guys can do it with that less energy, and I'm working already from 8 a.m. to midnight every day, and all I needed to do is bring in my work ethic into a different vehicle.
Yeah.
And it just shows you, like, now that I look back, I always look at it, like, I see so many people, like, when I'm out to eat, like, I'm always, like, watching. Like, I go into a room and I scan it now. It's like so many people, they're working so hard, but it's in the wrong vehicle.
Yeah.
Now that I look back at it, it doesn't matter how fast you go if you're not in the right vehicle. And the way I look at this industry, it's like the freaking Ferrari of the vehicles. Like, you can move like lightning if you have that right work ethic here. It's insane to see.
Yeah. And the restaurant industry, for you to scale to make, I mean, you'll make a couple $1 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
For you to make a couple $1 million in that industry, you have to franchise, and like
Tons
there's
of
not
money
really
out.
a pathway to make that kind of money in restaurants, is there?
There's not, because it's not scalable, it's not duplicatable. And then the other thing is, it's like $150,000 to open another business.
Yeah.
And there's like an 80% chance that you fail out in your first year.
And then if you're at one business working all the time, making that one profitable, and then you go to open a new one, like the original one suffers, right?
Yeah, it's like
in restaurant business.
You have to micromanage it.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And the biggest nightmare there is employees.
Yeah.
If you're not there, it's like the way I looked at it 5 years, fast forward through, is like I didn't own the business owned me.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a jail cell. Like someone asked, like, how did it feel to get out of the business industry? I was like, it felt like I just got out of jail.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
And so when you started doing this, so you said the biggest nightmare was employees
Yeah.
in the restaurant industry. How is working with independent contractors different? Like, there's a lot of good things about it, some bad things. Like, but how is it different working with people that only get paid commission and mentoring, managing, and motivating those guys instead?
So, man, the numbers speak for themselves, right? So in the agency, there's an 82% persistency rate, meaning 82% of the people that come into the agency succeed. So that just tells you the other 20% that don't, because of the work ethic usually, and we can't do anything about it. But 8 out of 10 people are succeeding because of the platform. We have a product that's need-based, sells itself. We're order takers. We always say that. I don't even look at it as we're in sales. We take orders, and it sells itself, and all you need to do is bring in the work ethic. So it's like, I always say it's the right opportunity for the right people. We've done a really good job of bringing in the right people, so that headache is very minimal, given there's fires that we put out at times. We're like, hey, that's a part of life. That's business, you know? But like the way I look at it is like there's 5 guys within my agency personally, not counting yours, that will make 7 figures this year.
Yeah.
You think those guys are going to give me a headache?
No.
Most of them were broke or like drunk college students like a year ago.
And if they do give you a
like,
headache, it's worth it.
Yeah, like it's worth it,
Yeah.
you know? Like, it's just insane to see like the 18-year-old kid that's on the team making $53,000 a month. You think he's going to give me a headache?
Yeah.
He's asking me to take me out for dinner when I get back. You know, I'm trying to squeeze him in. Like that's sales, man. Like, that's the beauty of it, is being able to provide those results. You're not hearing from a guy that doesn't want to show up. These guys want to work till freaking midnight every day.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
the energy you get.
So like in the insurance business, like you mentioned, there's people that walk around half dead, and there's people who want to work from 8 a.m. till midnight and want to work all day long and want to make a certain amount of money, and like won't go to sleep until they. What can you do? What could someone do if they have a team that they feel like is dead to cultivate that culture of people that are killers?
Yeah.
Like where you have a leaderboard where the numbers are look good. You said your top 20
is 40K a month.
40K.
Yeah.
So I was showing Diesel, like showing Caleb when we were out there. If you go to 60 on ours, it's 42K.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like if you want to be in the top 60 or top 20, you have to be killing it.
Yeah.
But not every group's like that. So like, what do you think you've done different than most people to cultivate that energy, competitiveness?
So that's a great question. This is something I learned from you early on, because everything I've implemented was learned from you, and then all I did was implement it. So like your team or your agency or business is going to be a direct resemblance of your leadership. Like, a lot of people look at the team, but they can't look at themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm highly accountable. If something is going wrong, and I learned this from Sean when I went to train with him after we went to convention, like my first convention in 2024, it's like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
Because a solid leader is the first to take the blame and last to take the results for the success, you know, the congratulations stuff. Like, but that's how you have to lead. Like, anytime there was an issue in my business, I asked myself, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
I'll just step back. Okay, like, I get a call the other day. It's like, hey, man, like, my team numbers are sliding back. Highest guy on the team is 28K. After that, just dies down.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you sell? 15,000. Why did you take your foot off of the gas this early?
Yeah.
People don't see that. Like, if you stop selling early on, your team gets punished.
Yeah.
Because they're looking for you to lead. You're not leading, there's no one to lead.
Yeah.
So it's like the little stuff like that I see. It's like, it's not what can we do better. It's like, look at yourself and scan what you're doing in the business and ask yourself, what are you doing wrong? Because everyone always looks at the team, but they won't look at themselves.
Yeah.
So in this business, you need to be highly accountable. The same way I reward myself, I will punish myself if I'm not doing something right. Most people can't do that, and they can't get to this level because they're not accountable.
Yeah, I think that's when you're leading a team of independent contractors, volunteer army, like people will do half of what you do and like none of what you say. You know, so like you could be the best speaker in the world, the best motivator, get people fired up, but if you're not validating it for them by actually doing it,
doesn't mean
then why are they going to do it?
Yeah.
You know, and likewise, like you could be a terrible. I was a really bad communicator for the first probably 3 or 4 years I was in business, but my saving grace was that I worked really hard. So even if I couldn't communicate the message the right way and I was really abrasive with people, I could just go, dude, just like, this is what I'm doing. Just sit down and watch and replicate what I'm doing. Like, I don't know how to even communicate it right, but like, here's leads, sales, go. Like, and you don't have to be a charismatic speaker if you set the right example. And if you have to choose one, you want to choose the example over the person that's a really good speaker, I think.
I think one of the biggest challenging things leading teams early on is learning how to communicate with different personalities.
Yeah.
So me and my top leg, Muhammad Raja, is about a fifth of the team. Me and him have a very dominant personality.
Yeah.
So anytime we would communicate, we would butt heads with each other. Like it turned into a battleground war. Like somebody's gonna die if me and him had a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it would be early on. Like there was no simple conversation. Like any
you'd see the phone call, you go, oh God.
Any gesture, complaint would just turn into an all-out battleground war. Like
yeah.
There would have to be like mediators between us to have a conversation. I laugh about it looking back at it, but it was because of I didn't know how to communicate with everybody. Like for me, it was like I was very cutthroat, like a general type of teaching. But I was raised in an army household. I was raised in my grandfather's house, which was high up in the Air Force. Like that's who raised me. He's cutthroat.
Yeah.
Doesn't smile. My dad doesn't smile. Like that's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Like very bold, very dominant, like very disciplined. Like, but that's where I got that from. So that's how I was communicated to for my whole life. That's how I communicate to people. You can't do that with everybody.
Yeah.
Though. You have to learn how to talk to different personalities. What I learned.
How did you learn to do that with people? Like, because to your point, you have to swallow your ego at some point and go like, okay, like I don't have to be right always. Like I just have to. For me, that was my mindset. Was like I don't have to be right in every conversation or feel like I won every conversation. Like I just want to accomplish what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And so that made it easier for me to go like I don't have to win this argument as long as I get the point across or get them to understand what I'm trying to get them to understand. And it helped me not butt heads with everybody. What did you do to kind of get around people like Muhammad who you would butt heads with to be able to communicate more effectively?
So I did the disc test, right?
Yeah.
At Sean's house, and it helped me understand why I was the way that I was.
Yeah.
You know, like when you see all those boxes checked, you're like,
okay,
all right, this makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, but I learned that there's 4 different personalities. You have to know how to communicate with them, and you have to know what drives all of those personalities. And it's like I was doing little stuff. I still do it to this day. So like there's a message on my phone for like whatever I'm working on. Like this one says towards the competition nonstop because I'm going up against Jay. Like that's what I want to see on my phone every day. But previous ones, like when I was working on communication, I put a message on my phone and said, what is the purpose of the message? Am I helping or am I hurting or am I bringing him down?
Yeah.
So it's like it's simple stuff. You learn how to communicate effectively. It's like now I start with the good thing for the bad thing. First I would just start with the bad thing and just hammer it.
You do a sandwich, right?
Just
like
pound.
good, bad, good.
It's not like, hey, man, you did this really well, but like I care about you and I want to tell you what you can do better because I want you to do it really well. Like I care about you.
Yeah.
But when you say that, it's different than, hey, Zach, like you're not doing anything. Like, dude, your numbers are down. You suck on the phone. Like, like that's how I used to deliver the message.
Yeah.
That's why it would turn out into an all-out war when it got to the point where people were afraid to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like people were afraid to approach me.
Now, I remember when you were talking about right there where people were afraid to approach you, like there was a time where you were super frustrated with your main guys, like Muhammad and some of the other guys that came in with you because they weren't recruiting.
Which was my fault.
So like, and that you were doing like 300 a month, I think then, right?
280, 300.
And then you made a couple tweaks. Because I think being at 300,000 a month is the hardest part of the insurance business.
The hardest.
Because you don't make as much money.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming in, a lot going out, and you don't have any real leaders yet, usually.
Yeah.
When you get to $1 million, you have a couple leaders, and life is good. So like, what did you do to make it through that part? Because I remember you being frustrated, and you're even frustrated thinking about it right now.
Yeah. So that was the most frustrating part about the business is getting over that $300,000 hump. I always say that getting over 300,000 was 10 times as hard as going from 1 to 3 million a month.
100%.
You let that sink in.
Yeah.
$3 million a month range was harder than 300K.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, you know, but it's like you don't have leaders. You didn't develop a strong the foundation is you. There's nobody. You're the foundation.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard. Most people can't win the battleground with the mental test in that phase. Like now I'm battle tested. Every day I wake up, I'm ready to fucking die. Every day, you know, like that's how tested I am. But like, you have to go through that phase to get there. But like, I look at the mistakes that I made is like, I wasn't talking about recruiting early on. I wasn't tapping into markets, looking at the talent, seeing who we need more of. And it was because I didn't have my belief fully in the business yet.
Yeah.
But you see how my leadership kind of impacted that result and probably even delayed those guys into doing what they're doing now. So like, my thing with everybody that I speak to is like, believe in the business early on. Because like, there's so many people doing it, and I always ask myself, is like, if they can do it, nothing special about me, nothing special about you. Like, you just need to work hard, dude.
Just work
like,
ethic, and coachability.
Yeah.
So you stopped like trying to micromanage those few people, and you were like, okay, like if I want, same thing as selling, right? If I want them to be recruiting, if I'm not recruiting 10 people a week, they're not gonna be recruiting 5, you know? So you started recruiting a ton.
Yeah.
And I had someone message me this morning on Instagram. They're like, hey, like I'm trying to recruit more. What can I do? I'm like, well, there's really 3 ways to recruit. 1 is like you can recruit your warm market. 2 is you can do outbound. And 3 is you can do paid ads. Like that's kind of the 3 avenues you have. And then I guess 4 is like if you build a good social media presence, people will reach out to you.
That's what I was about to say.
So, but when you're at that phase at 300 where you had to start recruiting new people, bringing new people in, what was your strategy to get over that hump and not be so frustrated at the guys that you had in business currently?
So just straight up social media, DMs, posting, that warm market, like social media and warm market going hand in hand. Who's following you on your social media? Your warm market.
Yeah.
You're not DMing them, but you're posting, you know? You're DMing the strangers that are in solar, whatever sales, you know? So it's like those 2 things go hand in hand early on. Now it's like when I talk about recruiting, I say attack from every angle.
Yeah.
I'm talking to strangers in the street whenever I come across somebody sharp. Like the guy I was at yesterday at Walgreens to buy soap, like after I left your house, like 11-ish.
Yeah.
Kid's a stud, like working 11 o'clock at night. Like, dude, what's the sharp guy like you doing here?
Yeah.
Guess who's going in the course today?
He is. Yeah.
That's it, you know? But it's like a lot of people are missing the right opportunity. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like when I run into somebody sharp, DMs, posting on my social media, warm market, like one of the guys that's here that was sitting down with my accountant told him to contact me.
Yeah.
Like he does his taxes too. He's like, dude, reach out to Ronnie. Like, got 400 guys on his team doing really well. Like, you're in sales, you're a stud. Like, you would do well there. But it's like everywhere I go, I talk about the business.
You're talking about the business, and you're telling everyone that you're recruiting people. Yeah. So your accountant knows you're building a team, and everyone knows you're building a team. Yeah. And like it's funny, the warm market will happen over time. Dude, this is the 8th year I've been in the business, and I just had someone. He's sold 10K his second week in the business. Great, but. Dude, he's known I've done this. I tried to recruit him day 1 in the business. 8 years later, he finally is in, you know? So I think like that's one of those things where if I didn't, and I stopped posting as much on social media for a while, and then I ramped it back up again because I'm like, I want to be the right example for my team, us keep growing. And then he reaches back out, was like, got it, you're still doing the insurance thing. Like, I want to jump in now.
That's all it is, man. Like, some people take a lot longer to recruit than others. Like, I had a friend that I sat down with a year and change ago, and he went into another business. He didn't believe in this business. He went to that business, lost 6 figures in 1 year, and then reached back out. Yeah. But had I not been posting on social media a lot, maybe he wouldn't have reached out.
He would have known, right?
So it's like, dude, we're still here.
Yeah.
A bunch of offices later, 400 agents later, $3 million leaderboard, like, we're here. You can't deny greatness. Yeah. We are here. But it's like, I post like that. Yeah. Like, we're here, you know, like May numbers came out, 3-second celebration, June is going to be crazy.
Yeah, we're here.
You know, so it's like showing people that we're here. So it's like when you continuously do that, like, guess who wrote 40K his first 6 weeks?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
But he's a really hard worker, just missing the right vehicle.
And I think it makes the reason it's so important to stay front of mind is that the people that are the hardest to recruit are the people that are the best usually.
They take the longest.
Yeah, they take the longest. I'm like, you took a year.
18 months.
Calvin took a year. Probably a year after he got out of the military. Easton took a year. Like, all of the top people I have taken a really long time to come into the business because they were doing something else. And it's like, if the people that are really easy to recruit, it's like they're probably not making money doing whatever they're doing anyways. They're probably not going to be that talented. The people that take a little bit of time to get going, you're like, those are the ones you want anyways. So you have to have some patience and not blow them up, but just keep posting, keep promoting what you're doing. Yeah. When you're recruiting people now, I think one thing that's in business, it can be easy to just offer people like higher comp.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you feel like you don't have any value, you're like, oh, I'll just give you this comp and whatever. And then like I've met a lot of people who have good comp and are broke as shit because they don't know how to actually
Like
sell or build a
80%
team.
of them?
Yeah, like all of them. Basically.
Yeah.
Everyone that doesn't work with us essentially has good comp. And
It's the first red flag.
so what do you think that you provide as like a manager, your agency provides that allows you to go like, hey, like you're gonna come in, you're gonna start a normal comp, but I can teach you how to make multiple 6 and 7 figures, not by whoring out the comp, but by teaching you like these things and these are the systems we have in place already.
Yeah. So if you're watching this is your first red flag. If you're being recruited, if they're offering you a high comp,
Yeah.
run. If they're offering you a high comp, that means they have nothing else to offer you.
Yeah.
So I always post on my story, like 0% of 120 is 0.
0. Yeah.
0% of 145 is 0.
Yeah.
Like you need to be taught the business correctly, and that's what we do. We teach you how to make money, not just throw a commission at you.
Yeah.
That doesn't teach you anything. So it's like the starting contract is always 80%. And like I have people that are at that starting contract that make more than people at 120s.
Yeah. I mean, so Tanner started how long ago? A year ago?
Less, 9 months ago.
9 months ago. Started at 80%.
Yeah.
Worked his way up, and then
Now at a 135. Yeah.
over that 9 months,
Yeah.
and then he's on track to make $1 million this year, right?
He made 125,000
Last month. So what things did your agency provide him to allow him to like come in, sell at a high level, and then build from there and scale the business he's built? You think?
So number one is selling correctly. Like I love this industry because it's so freaking easy to dominate if you know how to do it right.
Yeah.
Most people don't know how to sell right.
Yeah.
Hey, we just need to get you approved, Zach. If
Charge
you
back.
say that in my office, you will die.
You're fired. Yeah.
You will die that same day.
Yeah.
Like that's the one word in our office that we don't say. Like you're out. If I walk by you and hear you say that, grab you by your backpack and throw you out the door.
It's not a sale.
Everybody sells like that. So
Yeah.
number one is we teach you how to sell the right way.
Yeah.
We teach you how to keep stuff on the books. We teach you how to run a profitable business. That's by buying leads. We don't tell you to buy $5 worth of leads a day or something stupid, you know?
What's the minimum for your agents that they could buy?
So after they're out of training, we offer them their leads while they're in training. And then after we get them trained up, they're buying anywhere from $1,200. Like Top Guns are spending $2,000 because they want it. They want to buy more leads because they make so much money. Like last month, my agency record got broken at $81,000.
Wow.
Whoever broke it was going to get $1,000 sold from me.
Yeah.
The kid that broke it is 19 years old, been with us for 4 months. Guy named Omar wrote $99,581 last month.
How much was he spending a week on leads?
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
$2,000 a week.
Wow. There's no shot I could do that.
You know what he netted? Over $60,000 that month.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But dude, he works.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. So one, we teach you the skill set.
Yeah.
Well, we teach you how to treat this like a business with the work ethic, the schedule, the intentionality behind the day, and then we teach you how to build a business. Like Tanner's making more money than people at a 145 than I do.
Yeah. Way more.
That's the thing, you know. And like if my foot up was off the gas, he could make more money than I can.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this business is that nobody can hold anybody back.
Right.
Like I know people doing triple, quadruple of his numbers and don't see that much income. But we teach you how to build a sustainable business that has the longevity to succeed and for you to make an income as well.
Yeah, and
but everybody wins.
The thing that drives all of that is, to your point, is like we teach people to sell the right way. Because if you don't teach people to sell the right way, and like we had a guy just come on who was at a different company, really high comp, and took a 30% reduction because he's like, well, you guys have systems, processes, leads. Yeah, you can actually teach me how to sell. Like that's way more worth the high comp. But you like if you're someone who just is out there recruiting all day and doesn't know how to sell, doesn't know how to build, like, and you can't provide any value, then you can't do that. You know, so like you're like I sold $60,000 a month. I'm like I sold $60,000-$70,000 a month. Like we all sold at a really high level, so we can go. I can transfer that skill set to you, but I'm not gonna do it for free, and I shouldn't do it for free, right? And I think that's the essence of our business is if you provide value, no one's mad at you making override. But the second you recruit people and don't do anything to help them, then they're pissed off that you make an override, right?
Yeah, and that's what I always tell people, man. Like, whenever I'm on a recruiting call and they hit me with, like, hey, this guy offered me this, I was like, here, these are these 3 questions that you need to go back and ask him.
Yeah.
How long has he been here, and what has been the growth been in the last 12 months? Because if the business isn't growing, it's dying. You don't want to be there. Because it's a big difference. It has to be a growing business. Number 2 is how much has he sold on his own pen? Because that's going to be a direct resemblance of how much you're going to be selling. And then number 3 is how profitable is he? Yeah. Because leaderboard doesn't mean nothing if you're not wide or, you know, you're not direct. So it's like always ask those 3 questions, because I always say it's the difference between you walking into a gold mine, like with us here at Capital, or you walking into your graveyard.
Yeah.
Because if those 3 questions you can't check the box, it's a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think now, now that you talk that way and market yourself that way, it's like you kind of have to think that way before you get there to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I remember when Sean was like, you need to figure out something to market yourself as to be able to attract people to your business. So mine became like, okay, like I'm going to say we're the highest issue paid per writer. This is when we were doing like $200,000 a month.
Yeah.
It wasn't true. Like it was just me and Easton selling insurance. I was like, I'm going to say we're the highest issue paid per writer. If you just look at me and Easton, that's true. You know, like we'll not count the rest of the team.
Yeah.
But like that became like our thing. I was like, we like per writer, we sell the most. Yeah.
Mission statement.
And I said it before it was true, and then it happened. So like the confidence you have now, like did you start acting that way well before? Like you start acting like you provide that value well before where you are. It's easy to say now because you're like, I can validate it with $3 million a month.
Yeah.
But at $300K a month, do you think you spoke that way and started speaking that way?
Yeah, 100%.
How do you convince yourself of that?
It's just belief level, man. Most people can't get to a really good level in business or a high income because of the self-belief.
Yeah.
If it all starts with you, like it's all in the head. Like if you put a shark in a small tank, he'll never outgrow it.
Yeah.
But if you put the shark in the ocean, he's gonna eat everything.
Right.
So that's how I always looked at my brain. Like I always thought big, and I was always very confident in myself.
Yeah.
Like, there's very rare things that can throw me off of my feet or my rhythm. Like I'm battle tested, and a lot of that has helped the mindset. It's like there was videos like of me and Wiley on recording. Like I was talking about 1 million when we were at 300K.
Yeah.
Like that's how confident I was we were gonna get there last year. And it's just everywhere, you know, like that. Having that confidence is starting with having those goals and having them all around you.
Yeah.
Like if you do that, like you're untouchable when it comes to business.
Yeah. And then getting around the right people, right? Like
huge.
Because I remember in the beginning, I was kind of like, hey, like you and I, we should go down and see Sean, and we should go to and you're like, well, I kind of want to be doing better before I start doing that. Yeah. And I remember like having that conversation with you and going like, no, you're thinking about it backwards.
Yeah,
like we go to meet with these people, like we go to see Andrew or Sean or other people that have done well in business so that you can get better. But I think a lot of people think like you thought initially, which is like, I want to be doing good before I go there.
It's opposite.
And so how did you change that mindset? Because I think most people don't want to be they're like, I'm not worthy of being mentored yet. And me, I was always like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm going to find someone that knows what they're doing so they can teach me. Yeah. But you had more pride than I did, I think. You're like, you're more proud. I didn't care. I'm like, let me cheat on the test.
You're going to take me, I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm coming. Even if you don't want me to come to your office, I'm coming anyway.
So it's the opposite. Everybody has that mindset like, oh, I'm not doing well enough before I sit down with Zac Twardowski or I sit down with Sean Mike. It's actually the opposite. So I came to you when I was at 150. A lot of people don't have the balls to text you and call you 5 times a week. Yeah. But I was like, whenever I can get a hold of this guy, like I will. Like that's how intentional I was about getting around the right people. And I told the story. Did you listen to that podcast I sent you the other day at that minute mark? Yeah. Did you hear that? The story? Like that's how intentional I was about getting the right information. So like, that's the first time I ever shared that story. Like I was in the middle of banking, on the phone with the client. You called me. Yeah. And I hung up on the client in the middle of the call. Yeah. Like about to close him. Like I was still an agent dialing. So like, but that's how intentional I was about getting the right information. So like, now that I look at it, it's like a lot of the guys see the guys on my team that are moving and doing really well. Like all these guys, Adam Ked, Ennis and Chauncey, 18-year-old stud that's making God knows what now, and like Dante, Tanner, but I brought them to the fire early. Yeah. Like when I seen Drew Smith working till midnight his first week, guess who I told to move to Austin, Texas?
Yeah, like move to Austin, get away from your...
Dude, you're about to be something special. Yeah. Like if somebody comes in the business and works till midnight their first week without you telling them, that's who you need more of. Yeah. So like when I see that, instantly I grab them and they're going to the fire. Yeah. Like I'm going to light them up and get them to the next level. Like I will do everything in my power to make sure those guys succeed. Yeah. If they're putting in that type of work, like I always say, like I will bleed out of the business before I let somebody like that fail. Yeah. That's how intentional I am about developing that early talent early on.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Like now, if you try to, the easiest way to get frustrated in the business, which happened to you, happened to me a million times, is like go back to when you're at 300K. You were so frustrated because you had all this energy and you wanted to mentor people who were not interested in being mentored, and you wanted to bang your head against the damn wall. I remember like you could hear the frustration in your voice at that point. And like that's the trap everyone falls into, is they try to get the same people to do more. And like they might do more later, but they're not gonna do more. Like whatever you've done to get to this point hasn't worked. So go find new people. And I think like you told that story. I've seen that story so many times where you're like, Muhammad was not hiring, not building a business quickly. We were talking every day. We were butting heads. You got frustrated. I'm like, hey, go recruit new people and sell. You're like, okay, fine. I'll go recruit new people and sell. It sounds too simple to be true. Then other guys start growing, then he grows. You know, because he doesn't want to get left behind. And it just wasn't his time, and something changed in his mind. Then he wants your help, and he's listening to you because you validated it with 3 other people.
And that's how it is. Like, a lot of people in the business, they're just, like, worrying about dragging the wrong people to the finish line is what I say. It's like, if you want to sell like he was selling, like, 60, 70K a month. Like, thought he was making a killing, making 30, 40K a month.
He was, dude.
Building.
Yeah.
But then he's like, dude, like, I waited that long to do this, and I thought, like, that was really big. It's great, though. Both are good. That's what people miss. Like, either one is fine. Like, somebody who just wants to sell at a high level, like, I don't force anybody to recruit. You want to build a team, that's on you. You have to care about people to do that. If you're, like, a piece of crap, I don't even tell you to build. I don't participate in hurting people. If I can't help you, I will not hurt you. So it's like, both are fine, and that's what people miss. Like, they want to sell a lot, let them. They want to build, like, okay, have them reach out to you. But I learned this one trick from you that opened the door for those people. It's like, now I text them after numbers came out. Like, hey, man, you killed it. You killed the leaderboards this week. Like I'll FaceTime some of these guys that are early on now. Like, bro, you're number 2 in our leaderboard. You're number 2 in FFLs. It's your second month. I was like, bro, I just want to tell you good job. And if you ever need anything, I'm a phone call away. Do not hesitate to call me. If you ever have a problem, I use Sean's line. It's 2 a.m. You call me, I have a problem. Everybody dies except you when I show up. I always use that line. But, like, dude, those guys get hyped. And now guess who's walking into my office asking me how they can build a team. But I open that door for them, but I don't push them too hard. You push people too hard, they're going to hate you.
Yeah, because then you're letting them come to it on their own, and then you're helping them hit their goals. Not making them hit your goals for them.
No, I'm only participating in what they want to do. I'm fine no matter what.
Yeah, that was I thought so many ways about, like, how do I open the door and communicate with people without, like, scaring them off. You know, and just like you said, just sending. I did voice text, but any text, FaceTime, whatever. Like, hey, great month, happy for you. If you ever need any help, need anything, or want to get that next level, let's talk. I'm here for you. But glad you're on the team. It's
simple. Something like that goes so far, man, because, like, people just want recognition. When people get that recognition, like, even now, like, I feel like a little kid in the toy store when I get a call from Sean Micah. Like, like it's a good feeling, you know? Like, knowing somebody at that level is thinking about me when he called me at 1 a.m. the other night. It's like most people are sleeping, but, like, knowing that he's thinking about me at the end of his day like that means a lot. So even for me at my level, that recognition and attention, it matters to me. Imagine the guys that are nowhere near us. Like,
and
how
they don't
big of
have
an
that
impact
belief
it
yet.
has, you know? Like that kid that's 18, that's number 2 in our leaderboard, number 10 in FFL, that probably will net 30K his second month because he's a really hard worker. Like, FaceTiming him, like, he was, like, shocked. He's like, bro, like, oh, Ronnie, like, he didn't have my number saved. But, like, that stuff goes a long way, but a lot of people aren't intentional with doing that. Like, I'm very intentional about developing those guys and making myself resourceful for the right guys that deserve it. Not for the guys that aren't moving. It's because they don't want to if they're not moving. But the guys that are, I'm really intentional with getting them to the next level. It's a relationship business. It's mentoring the right people, spending the right time with the right people. And, dude, we could probably do this for 5 hours. We won't. Dude, we could go for a whole week.
We're doing a training this week with all of our agencies that are over 100K. So we'll see a bunch of people there. Thank you for everything you've done to elevate the level of our team. We would not have grown the way we are without you. Appreciate you, man, and thanks for doing this. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate you having me on, and we're going to build this thing even bigger and better than you ever imagined.
We definitely are. Thanks, dude.